Is that you, Vicar?
No, it's me.
Who are you?
I'm a bee.
Stop messing about. Who is it?
I'm a bee, and I want to pollinate you.
I beg your pardon?
I'd like to lift your petals. Lily, that's what I should call you. Lily, because you've got a lovely white bottom.
Are you aware that this is a church? And that someone is watching?
Yes, of course she is, and she's got a lovely white bottom. And I'm going to fertilize her. Fertilize her.
Don't you think it would have been wisest for you to have told us all this yesterday, Mrs. Pasquith? I mean, we could have asked the patrol to keep an eye open. As it is now, it's too late for us to do anything about this man, isn't it?
Yes, but you see, I didn't really like to. I didn't know what people might think. I mean, he'd said all those horrible things, and I didn't know whether he might start telling lies if someone came and caught him. Lies about me, I mean. Well, they do, don't they? And after all, me being on the flower committee and everything. Well, that's why I was down there, you see. I thought that I'd nip down and see to the flowers and then take the altar cloth home ready to go to the laundrette.
Well, may I just...
Sorry?
Could you give me a description of this man, a rough impression, maybe?
Well, he must have been crouching all the time. But he certainly wasn't a young man, not from his voice, anyway.
How did he speak?
Oh, very bold, very impudent. Well, I told you.
Yes. Was he an educated man?
You might say that, yes. Well, pollinate. It's not the sort of word that someone ignorant would think of using, is it?
No, I suppose not.
There was just one thing.
Yes?
I caught a glimpse of him through the window, just a shape, mind, during his departure. The thing being... funny, really. He didn't seem to have any proper control over his legs. Well, he was running sort of, sideways.
What, like a crab?
That's it, exactly. Just like a crab. Strange, really.
Yes, certainly.
Just like a crab.
Now then, young lady. Come.
Where is he?
I'm afraid he got away. We're quite safe now.
But he can't have. You had hold of him.
No, I'm afraid he did, though. Now then. Come along, let me take you inside and I'll have a look at you. It's all right. I'm a doctor. Dr. Meadow. I'll just take a look at you and then I'll drive you home. Mm-hmm.
Hadn't you better ring up now?
Hmm?
The police.
Ah.
They might still catch him if you get onto them straight away.
No, no, no. You mustn't worry.
Would you rather I telephoned? I don't mind.
Hmm?
The only trouble is I can't tell them what he looks like, and you can.
Now, what is all this you're worried about, eh? The patient is our first concern, isn't she? How are you feeling now, hmm? Oh, this young lady's just had rather a nasty experience. She's having a little rest before the police arrive.
The police?
There's some fellow attacked her in the road outside here. They'll want to ask her some questions.
Is there any reason why she can't go to the police station? That's the normal procedure, isn't it?
Yes, yes, I suppose it is.
Well, then.
No. No, I think under the circumstances. Now, are you quite sure you want the police brought in all of this?
Quite sure, thank you, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had anything to drink?
I've given her a sedative.
I would have thought something hot. Do you think something in that line could be arranged? Tea, perhaps?
Well, actually, it is rather awkward. It's the maid's night out.
Oh, the sergeant here is very good at making tea. He'd be pleased to.
I don't think that will be necessary.
Do...
Oh, by all means.
Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you some questions, Miss Sweeting.
Mum would be worrying her head off.
We've sent someone round to the house. Now, can you give me any sort of description of the man?
I can't, no. Except he was old. He felt old. Smelled old. Apart from that, the doctor can tell you. He saw him.
Oh. Yes, that's true. Quite true, but not his face.
But...
You couldn't recognize him again?
No, sorry.
That was the way he ran. It was sort of funny. Sideways, like a crab. Just like a crab.
Morning.
Morning.
No luck with the patrol car, then?
Well, they cruised around as far as Pitney. Only sign of life they saw was the vicar leaning over the rectory gate and flagging them down with a beer bottle. I'm sorry, he says. I thought you were the butcher. Then he toddles off back in again. 10:30 at night, he thinks it was the butcher.
I don't think he's one of the regulars, you know, Sid. I'm sure of it.
I agree.
And yet, the girl and the Pasquith woman both say that he was fairly old. Now, why should a man break out like that at that time of life, eh?
Well, have a word with Bill Malley. He keeps well in touch with our senior citizens. On the committee of that Derby and Joan thing, etc. Come to think of it, he did tell me they've had a bit of awkwardness over at Twilight Court this past couple of weeks.
Old men feeling a bit skittish again, are they?
Yes, well, whatever. They've cut out stout at supper on the men's wards.
Last time they blamed the fluoride in the water.
Oh, let them get on with it, I say. At least they die with a smile on their face. Still, maybe it's the weather. Mind you, it's a pity that doctor didn't get a look at the bloke's face.
Yeah. I wonder why he claimed not to have. He must have done, you know. The girl said he was right under a street lamp.
She couldn't have been certain that he actually looked at him.
Yeah. Why did he take so long, though, to call us? I mean, to say his only concern was his patient is not good enough. He wouldn't have called us at all unless she'd insisted.
What do you suggest we do, then?
What's the matter, Sid? Worried about extra duty?
No. No. It's just...
What?
Well...
Does it conflict with your landlady's bath rota? I'm sorry, Sid. There's nothing else I can do. Except perhaps put on extra patrols and hope that the next time this character performs, there'll be some less circumspect citizen around than Dr. Meadow.
Will there be that banner thing on the side of the coach?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Malley. The Trent Street Derby and Joan Club annual outing. Splendid.
I see.
You seem doubtful, William.
Well, it's just that... Well, one or two of the old folk reckon to find it a bit showy.
But they are on show, Mr. Malley, and jolly proud they should be, too.
If you just run through the basics once more, Miss Pollock.
The charabanc will arrive outside the club at 11:30 a.m. Alderman Winge and myself will be in attendance as organisers and general dogs' bodies. The venue is the old reservoir at Gosby Vale, where there will be a picnic lunch, games, and a competition based on the naming of wild flowers.
How about drink?
Lemonade aplenty.
But I thought a crate of light ale had been donated for the gentleman by the Flaxborough Brewery Company.
That indeed is true, William. But Miss Pollock and I considered it politic to say nothing of the donation at this moment in time. Rather, we intend to secrete the crate in the back of the luggage compartment as what you might call a reserve benefaction.
It will only be withheld if circumstances suggest that undue frivolity might result.
I take your mind back, William, to the year before last.
Well, if there are no more points, Alderman?
No.
Mr. Malley?
No.
Mr. Wainwright. Jolly good. I declare this meeting closed at 8:37. Goodness me, is that the time? May I thank you once again, gentlemen, and say that, all in all, I am sure that we can promise our old folk that this year, like every year, will be a truly fun occasion.
That twerp from the newspaper tried to buttonhole me again.
Which one was that?
What's his name? Popplewell, our so-called junior reporter. Now then, Sarge, he says, what's all this about the Flaxborough Crab?
I do wish they wouldn't talk in headlines.
Apparently the old town's talking. He reckons they've got no end of stories. Who, I says? Well, he says, for a start, there's that woman in Windsor Close, Mrs. Cooper, husband on the buses. She's not complaining to us, I says. That figures, he says. And what about Mavis, what's her name, the waitress at the White Hart? Hello, I said, what's this? Another strangling? No, he says, liquor snatching. According to him, there's a peeping Tom in every corner. Women daren't go to bed. Oh.
Yeah, come on.
No one has slept for a fortnight down Edward Crescent and Abdication Avenue. I said to him, now look, son.
I bet that pleased him.
It pleased me. Now look, son. We've got 2, maybe 3 patrols out every night. All we can do is hope for the best. What more can we do?
I'll have a word with Lynch, the editor. Although he's perfectly right to put the public on its guard. It's a question of how he handles it, though.
Trouble with a joker like this, of course, is that he's totally unpredictable.
I'll tell you this, Sid. I don't think he's a joker. His performance might have been futile up to date, but I think he's dangerous. Potentially bloody dangerous.
But I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle.
Made for two.
Oh. Well, perhaps it's a little early for us all to be in good voice. Well, never mind. What about a round or two of I Spy?
What about our beer?
No, wait a minute. I spy with my little eye something beginning with...
With B for beer.
Something beginning with C.
Cow.
Oh. Oh, Mrs. Crunkinghorn.
Take me bag, you.
Right, look, got it. Ooh, yeah, you want a hand?
Oh, thank you.
That's it. There you are. There's your bag. That's it.
Sure.
Now then, this is it.
Come on.
Oh.
Damn thing all bed.
Let's kick the blooming...
Here, you have it. No.
Now, come on, lads. That's
Our beer. It's our beer in there, and we're entitled to it.
Here's in there.
There we are, then. Look, I'll put them down on the table for you.
Pay attention, everybody. Pay attention. Before our little feast, some of us picked lots of absolutely lovely flowers. And we must now see, mustn't we, how many of them we can name. Now then, I shall pick up each one of these nice little flowers in turn, and I want you to call out its name. Mr. Winge is going to keep the score, aren't you, Mr. Winge?
That's right.
So that we shall know who gets the most right. Ready, everybody? Now then, here's an easy one for a start.
That's not but a poor little piece of bed.
Well, actually, I would have thought...
That's what that is.
The old country name, I expect. What's this one called, I wonder?
Tickle Titty. That's what that is, me old duck. Poke me gently. Was very good for green sickness, my old mother used to reckon.
Wouldn't some of you other ladies like a try? What's this one called, I wonder?
Old man's vomit. Don't want to get that too near your dress, duck.
Now, I think what we all need is a jolly good game to settle our splendid luncheon. How about a nice game of hide and seek? Now then, the ladies will hide, as they always do, and the gentlemen will seek. Now then, we'll give 5 minutes start to the fair sex. Right then, ladies, off you go, off you go. I think some of the poor old dears are a bit slow in getting into the swing of things. Perhaps it's up to us to give them a bit of a lead. Now, if you, dear lady, will go into that little thicket over yonder, I'll give you a few moments, and then I'll pretend to look for you. Will you do that? Capital. Right then, ladies, off we go. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10. I'm coming! Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Got her.
What are you doing down there, Mr. Winge?
It's very tempting to conclude, wouldn't you say, Bill, that the Flaxborough Crab, so-called, is no more.
Aye, it certainly looks like it.
He was a singularly busy fellow, was our Steve. He was on no fewer than 15 committees. Sunday school superintendent, old people's welfare visitor, magistrate.
Governor of the grammar school it was.
Lifeboat fund president.
Chairman of that clean-up television thing.
I wonder what set the old bugger off on a lark like this all of a sudden, eh?
Maybe he's been at it for some time and we just haven't heard about it.
Oh, come off it, Bill. The way he's been carrying on.
You've caught the crab, then?
Yeah, so it would seem. You can let your young lady out again now, Sid.
My landlady won't half be disappointed. She's been going up as far as the canal end every night this week, just on the off chance.
Have you fixed the inquest yet, Bill?
Yes, for tomorrow afternoon. Old landlord's down in Cornwall or somewhere, so I had to call out Thompson. He hasn't sat as deputy coroner since 1967. He's bloody terrified.
Right. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it?
You don't know who's doing the PM, then?
No, who?
Heinemann.
Oh, no.
And there's already a buzz that the Winge's family are getting both his own solicitor and his own doctor to attend the inquest.
Solicitor? That wouldn't be just in Scorpe, would it?
It would.
Who's the doctor?
Meadow.
What's the idea, then?
The family are not very pleased. I think the widow Winge is going to go on the warpath. I fancy they'll be putting Meadow up to say that the old man was suffering from something or other that caused him to be unaware of what he was doing. You know, all very sad. Still a sight more respectable than jumping on young women just because he felt like it.
Thompson, Heinemann and Meadow.
They're all doctors, you see.
So what?
So they ate one another's guts, that's what.
Doctor, you conducted a post-mortem examination on the body of the deceased at Flaxborough General Hospital, I understand.
Exactly, that I have done, yes. The deceased was a well-nourished male person, aged about 60. There was some evidence of circulatory deterioration, but no more than was to be expected in a man of his age. All organs were in a comparatively sound condition, and I was unable, by standard pathological techniques, to detect any significant degree of physical regression attributable to the age factor. I was able to eliminate the possibility of intervention in the form of incision, ligature, toxin, or concussion. The deceased had ingested between 6 and 7 ounces of protein and carbohydrate with traces of mineral compounds, not more than 1 hour previous to death. No part of the contents of the stomach was inconsistent with normal nutritional processes. I had observed a bruise together with adjacent abrasion in the upper area of the left hip. There were several smaller bruises.
Correct me if I am wrong, Doctor, but I take it that what you are now listing are the body's superficial injuries, the incidental injuries. You do not suggest, do you, Doctor, that the injuries you were describing were contributory to the man's death? That's all I was asking.
I examined the brain of the deceased and found it to be in reasonably good condition for a man of this age. However, in my investigation of the cranium, I did find clear indications of grosse bias syndrome. Paragraph 5.
Are you in a position, Doctor, to suggest a cause of death?
Cause of death? But drowning. What else?
Thank you, Doctor. You might have mentioned that earlier. Now, would anyone like to ask Dr. Heinemann any questions? Inspector? Dr. Meadow? Mr. Scorpe, you represent the family of the deceased, I understand.
If you please.
Well, is there anything you would care to ask this witness?
A couple of points, Doctor, if you wouldn't mind.
Please.
You say you found clear indications of a certain neurological condition known as grosse bias syndrome. That condition being, in the language of a layman, a disturbance of the brain, eh?
Of the central nervous system.
If you please, of the central nervous system. Thank you. Now, Doctor, could you tell us what special characteristics would be shown by a person suffering from that syndrome?
Of course. One, he will have troubles controlling the balance, particularly in moments of stress or anxiety. Two, very probably he will have parapsychotic reactions to sexual stimuli. Three, a well-recognized symptom of grosse biarism is the patient's euphoric, I could even say hallucinatory, estimation of his own physical potential.
In other words, Doctor, the unfortunate man would not only lack what we sometimes call moral control, but he would also have an exaggerated idea of his own vitality.
Exactly, but exactly.
So, might it not be fair to say that a man suffering from this most distressing condition would be far less responsible for his actions than if he were not thus afflicted.
Yes, I think I might agree with that, within certain limits, you understand.
Now, Doctor, one more question only. Now, are the symptoms of Grosser syndrome, are they sufficiently obvious and well-defined for the condition to be diagnosed without undue difficulty?
My dear sir, a man suffering from grosser is as obvious as a drunken policeman. If the inspector will pardon the expression, even the most incompetent general practice fellow could not fail to see it.
If you please.
Thank you, Doctor. And now, Dr. Meadow, you also have other matters to attend to, I feel sure. You're under no obligation to offer evidence unless you think it will help this inquiry. You wish to be sworn?
I swear by
Not
all
only
my
do they want a whitewash job, they're looking for a scapegoat as well.
How long had Mr. Winge been a patient of yours, Doctor?
Oh, many years, perhaps 15 or more.
You are, in fact, the family physician.
I am.
Had you, in general, always considered him to be a fairly healthy man?
With minor exceptions, yes.
Right up to the time of his death?
He exhibited no symptoms of serious illness.
How serious, Dr. Meadow, would you consider the condition described by the last witness as the Grosser syndrome?
That would depend upon the context.
Very well. Context of Mr. Winge, then.
I'm not convinced that it would be proper to divulge findings arrived at in the privacy of the consulting room.
You have heard of the Grosser syndrome, Doctor?
Oh, I think I may say that I am as familiar with that condition as you are, Doctor.
In that case, I needn't ask you if you applied the appropriate medical regimen.
You need not.
Did Mr. Winge lately complain specifically of having difficulty in keeping his balance?
As I have already indicated, I am not prepared to divulge professional confidences.
As you wish, Doctor. May I put this to you, then? Were you surprised to hear Dr. Heinemann refer to the symptom of imbalance in connection with Mr. Winge's complaint?
I should be surprised by nothing that Dr. Heinemann saw fit to propound. Whether I agree with it or not is quite another matter.
What does he mean by that? Little doctors, aren't they?
There is one further question it is my duty to ask you, Doctor. Was Mr. Winge undergoing, to your knowledge, any form of medication at the time of his death?
He was.
Of what kind?
I'm not prepared to say.
I could press this matter, you know, Doctor.
If you please. Yes. Now, you always enjoyed the full confidence and warm appreciation of the Winge family, did you not, Doctor?
I believe that to be so, yes.
Yes, and in treating my late client, whose death we all deplore, you invariably employed the full extent of your professional knowledge and skill. No, I require no confirmation, Doctor. That was a statement, not a question. A statement of known fact. So would you not agree that the family of my late client offered no objection at any time to the course of treatment you saw fit to prescribe to Alderman Winge?
Well, no objection. Not at any time.
Of course not. And they did not object. Indeed, they had no known reason to object to your prescribing a substance named beta-aminotetraglutamide.
I'm not in the habit of consulting my patients' relatives, but as you rightly say, they would have had no reason to object. Laymen have no business to approve or disapprove the prescription of drugs because they know nothing about them.
The medical profession, on the other hand, knows all about them, eh?
Oh, I personally make no claim to omniscience.
Not in regard to
beta-aminotetraglutamide?
Ah!
No. It's a carefully tested and widely approved preparation.
How carefully tested, Doctor?
I really cannot submit to this line of questioning on medical matters by a lay advocate. It is most improper. If Mr. Scorpe is intent upon attaching sinister significance to every pill and powder taken by a man who had the misfortune to fall into a reservoir, I suggest he looks into his late client's devotion to self-medication.
By all means, Doctor, by all means. Provided, of course, I am so invited by the learned coroner.
What had you in mind, Doctor?
Well, not to put too fine a point upon it, Mr. Winge indulged in quack remedies. I advised against them naturally, but he tended to be headstrong in these matters.
Quack remedies?
Herbs, that sort of thing. His latest addiction, if I'm not mistaken, was to something he called Samson's salad. He obtained supplies by mail order.
What's that? You might have told me.
Looked to me like compost.
What's it made of?
Samson's salad, did you say, Doctor? Very odd. Still, it is scarcely within the scope of this inquiry to speculate on the hypothetical qualities of some hearsay vegetable. If Mr. Scorpe has exhausted his catechism...
Oh.
I don't think we need to detain you any longer, Doctor, from your practice. Now perhaps we should hear what Miss Bertha Pollock has to tell us. Would you kindly call Miss Pollock, Sergeant?
Miss Pollock?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give at this inquest shall be the truth, the whole truth. Oh. Oh.
Well, how did it go?
Oh, the usual bunch of jumped-up little clerks trying to impress each other.
To hell with that stupid interference.
That's all right. It's all right.
Death by misadventure. A poor sort of end for a member of 15 committees. Sit down, my boy, sit down.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I've just come from a Rotary luncheon. And Mr. Winge's name did crop up, of course, several times in the conversation. Oh, he'd be sadly missed.
No doubt, sir.
Very nasty for his wife, too, poor thing.
Oh, I think she'll live it down, sir. Probably with the help of an action for damages against Dr. Meadow.
Good gracious me. Whatever for?
Well, I think they hope to prove, or to suggest strongly enough to impress a court, anyway, that Winge's behaviour was due to his doctor's faulty prescribing.
Oh, that's rather a long shot, surely. As I understand it, people only sue their doctors for, well, for leaving scissors and things inside them, not for handing out medicine.
Well, it depends on the nature of the medicine, sir. I think Mr. Scorpe is hinting that things were not as they should have been.
Oh, well, that's Meadow's affair, not ours. These night patrols, Mr. Purbright, you're quite happy about dropping them now, are you?
Aren't you, sir?
As long as you're absolutely convinced that poor Winge was responsible for all these, well, these unfortunate incidents.
Well, I don't think there can be any reasonable doubt, sir. The behaviour pattern was the same in every case.
Yes, you don't think we ought to check back, as it were, Check each incident against Winge's availability at the time, huh?
Well, he won't be accused officially of any of these things, sir. So there'll be no question of a miscarriage of justice. In any case, reluctance to speak ill of the dead is very strong in Flaxborough, as you've no doubt noticed yourself.
Yes. Oh, well, it's probably just as well things turned out the way they did. It's strange, isn't it, how these little mishaps sometimes turn out to be blessings in disguise? Huh?
Yes. I think I'll celebrate with a spot of gardening.
Oh?
After all, sir, policemen really benefit from strokes of fate. More often than not, we have to clean up after them. And as you say, this providential little side swipe has saved us all a great deal of trouble. I think we can safely say that we've heard the last of the Flaxborough Crab.
Oh, Flaxborough. I do wish the newspapers wouldn't coin these offensive catchphrases, Mr. Purbright.
Okay.
Mr. Winge fell from grace into a reservoir, poor chappie. But nonetheless, he had a very distinguished record, Mr. Purbright.
Well, versatile, certainly. When?
2 o'clock this morning, as near as damn it.
And she's quite sure?
Sideways, like a crab.
Damn. Damn, 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 damn.
Off the record or no, I would point out that I was asked about the condition for which I was treating Alderman Winge at the inquest.
And you declined to answer?
The doctor has every right to resist probes into his professional relationship with the patient.
An inquest is a public hearing. That made your position difficult. This is a private and, I hope, friendly talk.
Oh, do.
Oh, thank you. The patient is dead. Do you not think that ethics might be slightly relaxed? You've seen the post-mortem report, I suppose?
Yes, of course.
Could you tell me whether it squares with your knowledge of Winge's condition, the what's-the-name syndrome?
Well, I'm not a neurologist, but I do have a special field. It's geriatrics. Not that all my patients are elderly, of course.
Winge was getting on, active, but getting on.
Mm-hmm.
I presume you prescribed accordingly?
I did.
Tonics, that sort of thing?
Well, the modern equivalent. Vitality is very easily regulated nowadays by an appropriate drug regimen. The process is well proven.
Is there no danger of drugs having unwanted effects?
Every drug has side effects that are undesirable to a greater or lesser degree.
No, what I'm driving at...
What you're driving at, Inspector, is this. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Was I prescribing something for Alderman Winge that turned him into a randy old goat?
May I phrase the question more delicately? Was there any possibility of Winge overdoing his treatment? Taking too many capsules, tablets, that sort of thing?
Let me set your mind at rest, Inspector. The treatment which I prescribed for Alderman Winge was strictly controlled on a week-to-week basis. That's my invariable practice. It's a rule of mine, which is never broken.
You see, Doctor, I'm a good deal bothered by a problem that I'm beginning to feel is as much in your province as it is in mine.
Yes, I must ask you to be more specific. Guesswork is not good medicine.
I'll be perfectly frank with you, Doctor. When we learned of the circumstances of Winge's death, we felt reasonably confident that it was he who was responsible for the attacks on the women in the town. The medical evidence seemed to confirm that opinion. And yet, within hours of his death, a young and intelligent woman reported an incident that tallied in almost every detail with what had happened before. She described how the man ran away. Sideways, of course.
Well, that's inner ear trouble. It's quite common.
Yes, but you do see where this leaves us.
I do see that you would seem to owe poor old Winge an apology.
Not quite. There's no doubt that he made a determined attack on Miss Pollock. He may well have given in to similar impulses without our knowledge. What is now certain and very disturbing is that there is someone else, perhaps several people, given to the same kind of behavior. And he or they must be found.
Yes, it's a very proper sentiment, Inspector, but I really do fail to see how I can help you.
You can't give me any ideas why these people should be behaving as they are.
Introduce them to me, and then I might be able to offer you some sort of enlightenment. Until then, I hope you're successful.
Oh, we shall be, sir. Eventually.
This is Mrs. Grove. She's having trouble with her husband.
Oh, yes?
I'm having trouble with Mr. Grope.
What sort of trouble, madam?
It seems he's been pestering her a bit lately.
He's forever going on about his conjuggling rights. Now, that's not like Mr. Grope. He's always been a gentleman regarding the animal side of his nature. I don't know what's come over him.
Well, if you mean what I think you mean, Mrs. Grope, I don't think it's a matter in which the police can really interfere.
I think you might be interested in what the lady has to say, sir.
In what way can we help you, Mrs. Grope?
Well, he's taking something, you see.
She thinks it's having an effect on him. Show the inspector.
Samson salad.
It's herbs.
In what way is your husband's behaviour worrying you, Mrs. Grope?
Well, several ways. He's not really been himself since we moved to Flax, when he left the pictures.
He used to be commissioner at the Rialto in Chelmsbury. Retired last year.
Not the same man at all. Oh, I don't just mean this conjuggling rights business. I can deal with that. It's the other things. Just look what I found in the boot cupboard the other morning. Where did he get those, I'd like to know?
Where indeed?
Off some clotheslines, I should think. There have been reports.
Is there Is there anything else you feel you ought to tell us, Mrs. Grope?
He stays out late some nights, very late. Once it was nearly 1 in the morning.
Does he tell you where he's been?
Turned 70 in March.
No. Where has he been? Does he tell you?
Never ask.
Oh, I see. Anything else?
Well, just that business of the woman in the supermarket.
Oh?
Well, he's supposed to have interfered with her behind the shredded wheat, but there was only her word against his, and I've never known him do that before.
Yeah. I think, Mrs. Grope, it might be a good idea if you had a word with his doctor.
Well, I will, but he's not a man you can talk to, Dr. Meadow isn't. Very proud.
Yeah. Does he see him often?
Oh, once a week, regular.
Having treatment, is he?
Yes, pills and things.
Well, I tell you what, Mrs. Grope, leave it with us, and we'll see what we can do, all right?
It's not like him, you see, not like him at all, starting all this carrying on at his age.
Yes. You go with the sergeant, all right?
This way, madam.
Yes. Oh, what about them things?
Oh, I'll take charge of these.
I thought you might.
See you go home, will you? I thought you'd be interested.
Good God, Sid. The whole bloody town's infested with sexual maniacs. What on earth are we going to do?
I know. It's a devil.
But there are 2 common factors, at least as far as Alderman Winge and ex-Commissioner Grope are concerned. 1, the stuff in this packet.
That's why I knew you'd be interested. All that stuff at the inquest about Winge having taken it.
Yeah. Meadow went to great pains to tell us about it, didn't he? And 2...
They are both patients of the same Dr. Meadow.
Ah. I'm sorry to trouble you again, sir.
Oh, not at all, Inspector. I'm sure you think it necessary to sit down.
Oh, thank you. Do you happen to know a man by the name of Walter Grope?
Grope? I do have a patient called Grope. Walter, though, I couldn't be sure without checking.
Man of 60-odd. Moved here recently from Chalmsbury, retired cinema commissioner.
Oh, yes, I believe he is. Why, what about him?
Well, I've advised his wife to come and have a word with you about him. His behaviour's been worrying her.
What sort of behaviour?
Something in the line of Winge's little weakness. An excess of vitality.
You surely can't expect me to comment on that, Inspector. If Mrs. Grope sees fit to seek my professional advice, that's up to her. I cannot discuss with you or with anyone else some hypothetical marital problem that not even my own patient has mentioned.
The thing is, Doctor, and what I was hoping you could comment on is that Mrs. Grope believes that her husband's behaviour was due to his taking his stuff called, what was it, Samson's salad.
Oh, that, yes.
Yeah. At the inquest, you mentioned Winge's little weakness for self-medication. You mentioned a specific herbal preparation. Wasn't it the same stuff, Samson's salad?
Apparently so, yes.
Oh. What do you know about it?
The Winge claimed it did him good.
You didn't investigate it yourself? Have it analysed or anything?
Good Lord, no. Patients are always stuffing that sort of rubbish into themselves. I advised against it, naturally, but I don't think he took any notice.
Might something of that sort of produce the symptoms that we discussed before? You know, loss of balance?
Conceivably.
Sexual stimulation?
Well, certain vegetable extracts do have that effect. I'm not claiming that this particular preparation did.
Yet you saw fit to mention it to the coroner, and by name. That would seem to me that you considered it suspect.
I didn't want any fact overlooked that might be relevant, that's all.
But the coroner didn't take the hint?
No, but I'd made the point. That was enough for me.
Oh, by the way, Doctor, do you know of anyone else that's taking this stuff?
No, I do not.
None of your patients, apart from the Messrs. Winge and Grope?
No.
Well, thank you, sir. You've been most tolerant.
My dear chap.
How'd you get on?
I don't know, Sid. He's a smooth devil. But there's something going on underneath all that gloss. Quite what? Moulden Mears Laboratories. Moulden Mears.
It's a queer sort of place to have a laboratory.
Yeah.
Only sign of life I ever saw out there was the postman taking a shortcut from Strawbridge to Meldham Holt.
Do you know that part of the world, then?
Yeah, I've got an auntie in Strawbridge. I visit her now and again.
Good. You can combine business with pleasure, then. Find out about Malden Mears' laboratory. Tactfully, of course.
Of course.
Meanwhile, I'll keep the bold Mr. Grope under surveillance. Oh, where's Harper?
Don't know. Pook's in the canteen. I'll get him.
No, don't bother. Trouble is, Sid, you can't be sure of anybody anymore. Something is sending half the over sixes round the twist. Until we find out what it is and who's behind it, there's precious little we can do.
Good morning, my dear. This is the Managing Director of Moulden Mears Laboratories. I wish to speak to the advertising manager. Tea time. Miss Lucilla tea time. Thank you, my dear.